Fortaleza, Brazil. August 2005. It is Friday night. The last employees have left the Banco Central do Brazil. The vault door is sealed. The building is dark. 78 meters away, underneath the street, a man presses a drill against reinforced concrete and starts cutting. For the next 7 hours, 25 men move through a hand-dug tunnel in rotating shifts, carrying cash out of Brazil's central bank, brick by brick, cart by cart, in total darkness and suffocating heat. 3 months of planning, 96 days of digging. One question none of them can answer yet. Will they make it out before anyone notices? Eight months earlier, Antonio Jusivan Alves dos Santos, known as Alemão, the German, is a professional criminal with connections across the entire northeast of Brazil. And he has one target. The Banco Central vault in Fortaleza holds more cash than any commercial bank in the country. The bills inside are old, worn banknotes pulled from ATMs across the entire northeast, stored here before being fed into a shredder. No sequential numbering, impossible to trace. Not insured. Nobody is watching them. Nobody will miss them. He also has an insider, a former security employee at the bank named Dusimar Neves Queiroz, who knows exactly where the cameras are, where the sensors go blind, and where the money cages sit. His price is 2 million reais. Alemão builds the crew from family and criminal contacts. His cousin Marcos Rogério Machado de Moraes, Bocão, handles the tunnel design. The engineering brain is Moisés Teixeira da Silva, known as Tatuzão, Big Armadillo, a man who has dug escape tunnels out of prisons and understands soil, load-bearing, and ventilation. The financing comes from Luis Fernando Ribeiro, a 26-year-old drug dealer called Fernandinho, and coordinating the broader network with more real authority than anyone else is Davi Salviano da Silva. Vei Davi. The total crew eventually reaches around 36 people. Diggers, drivers, lookouts, engineers, cash handlers. Among them, a former mayor of Boa Viagem, Antonio Argeu Nunes Vieira, who invests 100,000 reais and expects a return measured in millions. Before a single note is stolen, the operation has already cost 500,000 reais. In every sense, it is a criminal startup. They need a base. They find one. A rented house at 1071 Rua 25 de Março, 1 block from the bank on the other side of Avenida Dom Manuel, surrounded by small businesses. In March 2005, the house opens for business. Fresh green paint. A sign above the door. Uniformed employees behind the counter. The company is called Grama Sintética, synthetic grass. A white van with the company logo parks outside every morning. Branded caps are handed out at a nearby nightclub. Promotional flyers circulate through the neighborhood. Neighbors receive friendly visits from the manager, a well-built man around 40, 1.80 meters tall, with a distinct Rio de Janeiro accent. He calls himself Paulo Sergio de Souza. He chats with shop owners. Paulo Sergio de Souza does not exist. The company does not sell grass. The van is not carrying turf. It is carrying dirt. May 2005. The digging begins. The back bedroom of the house is gutted. The tunnel entrance opens in the floor. Above it, the fake storefront keeps operating. Customers occasionally walk in asking about synthetic grass. They are politely redirected. Crews of up to 7 work in rotating shifts around the clock. The tools are basic: shovels, pickaxes, an industrial jackhammer fitted with a handmade silencer. Fortaleza sits on sandy coastal soil, soft enough to dig through, but solid enough to support a braced tunnel. Tatuzão plots the route. 78 meters in a straight line, 4 meters below the surface, passing beneath the city's water and sewer mains, running under Avenida Dom Manuel and the regional stock exchange building. terminating directly beneath the Banco Central vault. He uses GPS equipment to verify their underground position. A miscalculation of a few meters could send them into the wrong building. They install electric lighting along the full length. An air conditioning unit pushes cool air through PVC pipes. Without it, the underground temperature would be unbearable within minutes. Wooden beams and plastic sheeting brace the walls. Along the floor, they lay a miniature rail system, a small wheeled cart on metal tracks, built to carry soil out and eventually bring money back. The engineering is rough, but it works. In miniature, this is a mining operation. Every day, bags of excavated earth leave through the front door of Grama Sintetica. 30 tons in total over 3 months. The van takes them away in the night, to construction sites, empty lots, anywhere unremarkable. Neighbors see workers loading bags and think nothing of it. A landscaping company moves dirt. Of course it does. The conditions underground are brutal. Heat builds even with the cooling system running. The tunnel is so narrow. Investigators later find the passage littered with empty energy drink cans, isotonic bottles, burn ointment, canned feijoada, and Brazilian vitamin supplements. These men are not comfortable. They are working in the dark, in heat, in earth that could collapse at any moment. But they do not stop. The payday makes everything tolerable. In July, they reach the underside of the vault. 1 meter and 10 centimeters of reinforced concrete between them and 164 million reais. Tatuzão switches to diamond-tipped cutting discs and jackhammers wrapped in dampening cloth to muffle the sound. They cut slowly and carefully over several days. No one above notices. By early August, the hole is ready. Friday, August 5th, 2005, 6 in the evening. The last employees leave the Banco Central. The vault door seals. The building goes dark. The gang enters the tunnel. They crawl the full 78 meters and pull themselves up through the hole in the vault floor. The air up here is completely different. Dry, cold, climate-controlled, and silent. Metal shelving runs in rows along the walls. Sealed containers of cash, stacked floor to ceiling. They work by headlamp. Alamo and 3 others step into the vault first. After months of tunnel heat, the cold hits like walking into a freezer. Their lights sweep the rows, metal cages, steel containers, every one of them packed tight with bricks of 50 real notes, bundled and strapped. They begin loading. Each brick weighs roughly a kilogram. A man grabs one in each hand, walks to the hole, drops them to the man waiting below. That man stacks them onto the mining cart. The cart rolls 78 meters back through the tunnel, pushed by one man crouching in the dark, driving with his legs. At the other end, a crew unloads, stacking bricks in the back bedroom of the house on Rua 25 de Março. The cart rolls back empty, then again, and again, and again. The rhythm is mechanical. The tunnel is so tight the cart wheels scrape the walls when the load shifts. The man pushing it cannot stand upright. By the 3rd hour, his back seizes. Someone replaces him. That man lasts 2 hours before his arms give out. Old ink and paper dust fill the tunnel. Sweat, body heat. The ventilation system was designed for men digging, not for a relay chain moving cargo at speed. The temperature climbs, the air thickens, but the money keeps coming. 5 containers, emptied systematically, brick by brick, cart by cart, hour after hour. For approximately 7 hours, they ferry cash through the darkness. 3.5 tons. If the banknotes were stacked in a single column, they would reach 33 meters high, taller than a 10-story building. This is not money you hide in a bag. This is money you move with a vehicle. And that is exactly what they do. By early Saturday morning, August 6th, the vault is empty. The gang surfaces in the house on Rua 25 de Março. They load cash into vans and cars and scatter in different directions. Some west toward Piauí, some south toward São Paulo. Before leaving, they spread white lime powder across every surface to destroy fingerprints, and partially collapse the tunnel entrance. Then, they disappear. The bank stays closed all weekend. No one checks the vault. No alarm fires. No camera has recorded anything. The city moves on as if nothing has happened. 44 hours pass. Monday morning, August 8th, 8:20 a.m. The first employees arrive. They open the vault. Inside, a hole in the reinforced concrete floor. Empty shelves. 164,755,150 reais vanished. The Polícia Federal launches the largest investigation in the history of Brazilian banking crime. They call it Operação Tupera, Operation Mole. Between 200 and 300 officers are mobilized. Lead investigator Delegado Antonio Celso divides the case into 13 compartmentalized cells, each handling a separate cluster of suspects, specifically to prevent defense lawyers from accessing the full picture at once. The first break comes from the house on Rua 25 de Março. Despite the lime powder, a fingerprint specialist recovers prints that identify one of the tunnel diggers, José Marleudo. A prepaid phone card found inside the tunnel proves even more valuable. The linked phone goes under surveillance and generates leads for months. But the gang collapses faster than the police can move. One day after the robbery is discovered, just one day, a man named José Charles Machado de Moraes walks into the Brile car dealership and buys 11 vehicles in cash, paying with 50 real banknotes, nearly 1 million reais spread across the counter. He loads the cars onto a carrier truck and heads south. Police intercept him on the BR-040 highway, with 5 million reais hidden in 3 of the pickup trucks. His phone number matches the prepaid card from the tunnel. His family connections in Boa Viagem unravel the entire network. Within weeks, the arrests begin. Davi is found in late September 2005 in a Fortaleza neighborhood with 12.5 million reais in cash. But the money attracts something worse than police attention. It attracts predators. On October 7, 2005, 2 months after the heist, Fernandinho, the 26-year-old financier who bankrolled the tunnel, is kidnapped outside a nightclub on Rua dos Pinheiros in São Paulo. His family pays more than 2 million reais in ransom through a lawyer. He is not released. On October 20th, his body is found on an isolated road near Camanducaia, Minas Gerais. Shot 7 times, head and torso, handcuff marks on both wrists. 3 São Paulo civil police officers are later arrested for the abduction and murder. The men who were supposed to protect the law had hunted a criminal for his share of stolen money. Between October 2005 and April 2006, police document 6 kidnappings directly connected to the heist, all targeting gang members or their families, all with ransoms paid. Corrupt officers and rival criminals circle the stolen fortune like sharks, following blood. The investigation grinds on for years. Alemão is arrested in February 2008 in Brasília, posing as a cattle rancher under a false identity. He has used the money to buy farms, gas stations, cars, motorcycles, and a boat across 3 states. He is sentenced to 49 years and 2 months by the federal court in Ceará, later reduced to 35 years and 10 months on appeal. A separate proceeding adds 80 years for money laundering, but that conviction is overturned on a legal technicality. The definition of organized crime that prosecutors relied on did not exist in Brazilian law at the time of the crime. By 2023, his total sentence stands at just 11.5 years. In August 2017, he attempts to escape from Pacatuba Penitentiary in Ceará and is shot in the abdomen. He survives and is transferred to a maximum security federal prison in Paraná, where he remains. Tatuzão, the tunnel engineer, evades capture until July 2009. For 4 years, he lives quietly in São Paulo. visiting the same bakery every morning for bread and coffee. Federal police spend months building the case and eventually place an undercover agent inside the bakery. A man who wipes tables and makes small talk and memorizes Tatuzão's habits. When the arrest team arrives, Tatuzão is standing at the counter with a paper bag of fresh bread in his hand. He does not run. Boko, the tunnel designer, Alemão's cousin, is sentenced to 49 years, but escapes from Itaitinga prison in February 2011. The breakout is military in scale. Heavily armed men storm the facility at 1:30 in the afternoon and extract him along with 9 other inmates. He disappears into São Paulo's urban sprawl and stays invisible for 12 years, moving between cities, never using his real name. On December 1, 2023, São Paulo DEIC officers spot him at a shopping center in Sorocaba. He is standing in a crowd. He does not resist. 12 years of running, ended by a routine surveillance check at a mall. One man is never caught. Juvenal Lorindo Carcará lives in Boa Viagem. During a 4 a.m. police raid on his home, a braying donkey in the yard wakes him before the officers reach the door. He runs through a back window into the darkness of the Sertão and is never seen again. By 2020, a court quietly cancels his arrest warrant. Carcará is the only core member of the gang to escape justice entirely, saved by a donkey and the vast empty darkness of the Ceará backlands. When the investigation concludes, 129 arrests, 28 criminal proceedings, 133 defendants, 119 convictions, and combined sentences exceeding 2,452 years. But the most important number is different. 164 million reais stolen. Between 20 and 32 million recovered. Over 130 million reais, more than $55 million, that have simply ceased to exist. The banknotes were unsequenced and cannot be traced. They have been absorbed into the economy, laundered through farms and gas stations and construction projects, filtered through a criminal network stretching from the Sertão of Ceará to the financial towers of São Paulo. Investigators link portions of the stolen cash to the Primeiro Comando da Capital, the PCC, Brazil's most powerful organized crime faction. Author Roger Franchini alleges in his book Tupera that some of the Fortaleza money helped finance the PCC's coordinated wave of violence across São Paulo in May 2006. Bombings, assassinations, and assaults on police stations that paralyzed the city for days. If true, the tunnel beneath Rua 25 de Março did not only rob a bank, it armed a war. The Fortaleza heist consistently ranks among the 5 largest non-state bank robberies in recorded history. It held the Guinness World Record. It reshaped Brazilian banking security overnight. Real-time camera recording, underground detection systems, vault reinforcements. In 2017, those same improvements stopped a 500-meter copycat tunnel, targeting a Banco do Brasil vault in São Paulo before a single reel was taken. Netflix released a 3-part docuseries in 2022. 3 Tons. The Great Robbery of Brazil's Central Bank, that entered the global top 10 within 4 days. A Brazilian feature film premiered in 2011 to full theaters. Books and investigations continue to this day. In early 2026, one of the original tunnel diggers, Raimundo de Souza Pereira, known as Piauí, was identified in connection with a failed tunnel robbery attempt against a bank in Uruguay. 20 years later, the technique survives. A former mayor invested 100,000 reais and received 4 million in return. A security guard sold the vault's secrets for 2 million. A young drug dealer bankrolled the operation and was murdered for his share. A man who called himself Paulo Sergio charmed an entire neighborhood and then vanished so completely that no one ever learned his real name. The tunnel beneath Rua 25 de Março collapsed long ago. The house was repainted. The vault floor was repaired. But the money is still out there. Every 50 real note in Fortaleza could be one of them, and there is no way to tell.